We're speaking now to Flo Clucas from the Committee of the Regions. Can you tell us a little bit, just generally, about the big debate that's taking place at the moment about the future of regional policy and the direction you feel it's heading and maybe should be heading?
Well, yes, there is a big debate going on about regional policy, and that is particularly important for the Committee of the Regions. It's also important for our cities, our towns, our hamlets, our counties, as well as our regions. All municipalities need to be involved in this. My fear is that we are going to see a regional policy that actually will come from above. What I want to see is a regional policy that will come from below, that will actually engage our cities, our regions, whether legislative regions or not, and actually have them take a real ownership of what regional policy in the European Union is about.
Do you feel the current draft plans for the EU 2020 strategy go sufficiently far in that direction?
Well, I welcome the fact that they actually recognise the role of local and regional authorities. But what I want to see is for the European Union actually to say to our local and regional colleagues, you're very important to us. And to demonstrate that importance, we want you to help us design our regional policy. That wouldn't be too difficult, but it would have a huge impact across the Union.
What about the question of budget? Do you think that the current budgetary levels are about correct, that regional policy should receive what it currently receives? Should that change at all?
Well, when we look at the new member states coming in, when we look at the potential for other member states to join, I have to ask the question, is it enough? We can only decide that when we know really what we want Europe to do through its regions. If we want Europe simply to devote money to new countries coming in, new member states, former Eastern Bloc countries, then it probably is enough. But if we want a Europe that's for everybody, where everyone can actually participate and can see the value of the European Union, and that's where structural funds and the budget have a big impact locally, then you can't say that the current budget is enough. And perhaps one of the things we could do is look at how we spend it and how we enable that budget to be utilised locally.
The question of ownership that you mentioned is an interesting one. It works both ways. In order for regional policy to function as it should, as you said, local and regional authorities need to take more ownership themselves also. Concretely, what is the COR doing to try and get regions and municipalities to want to be part of the bottom-up process?
Well, obviously, as the direct representatives of local and regional government in the European Union, most of us have daily contact with our constituents. What we want to see, and what we've been arguing for, both through the Outlook opinion on the 5th Cohesion Report and indeed through the 6th Progress Report on Cohesion, is that involvement to be manifest. We want that to happen, we think it should happen, and we think through multi-level governance of the processes involved in the EU, we can actually make it happen. So the Committee of the Regions is very keen to see that operate. I know I talked to my colleagues, Michael Schneider and Mercedes Bresso, about how we can actually do that. And we will be concentrating on that, obviously, at our conference in Jaén, in Spain, and also at other things that we're doing around the European Union.
Multi-level governance is the buzzword we hear again and again. How far away are we?
I'm going to answer that in a way that you might not expect. I actually think we already have it. I think the problem is people don't recognise it and don't trust it. I was really lucky because I was part of the team that ran the Merseyside Objective 1 programme. And there was a gentleman by name Graham Meadows, who you may recall, and Graham was very keen that we should all be involved, and not simply involved at the level of meeting once every couple of months or having a look at the strategies that other people were doing, but actually that we designed them. Not only that we designed them, but that ordinary men and women from our local communities, 38 of the poorest neighbourhoods in our sub-region, should have a direct say in how that money was spent. We did that. We were able to demonstrate it worked, and the results are there for all to see. So I believe we are at the stage where that could happen without very much difficulty. What it requires is both the political and administrative will to make it happen elsewhere.
Flo Clucas, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much indeed.